Hello and a very welcome back to Jack.
I'm Jason.
And I'm Keith. This week's episode is all about Dog's Life on the Ps2. We were tasked with recreating the sniff mechanic from Dog's Life to see how we could pull it off the best.
Yep. So Keith, you gave us this idea to try and implement in a modern version.
Oh, yes.
Basically, we could take that mechanic and implement it any way we want. So I stayed pretty true to form, which we'll see later. But yeah, Keith, I'm really excited to see what you've done with
I've been
this.
hyping you up pretty much for the last week about this. So
Yeah, you've been
let's
telling
hope
me this is pretty good. So
Yeah, let's hope it follows through, huh? So we're going to take a look at mine first anyway. So Jay is going to jump in because obviously I already know what it is. So Jay, when you're ready, you just throw on Dog the Life there.
okay, a bit of a misspell there, but I'm very excited. I can't wait to get this open now. You really have been building it up. So I build it over here. Oh, bit of music and everything. Okay, I'm loving it so far.
Oh, that's it. I can't hear any of the audio. I'll just have to throw it back in on my end.
Oh, okay. Can I press space?
Yeah, you can press it now. I just wanted to get that effect.
Okay, let's go. And it's not starting.
No, give it a second.
Oh, okay. Whoa.
But I need to get back in
What
shape if I'm gonna look
is
for Daisy.
this?
Hold on to your pants. Here I come.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, I told you I was hyping up far too much. Right, so you can run, I think, with shift.
Wow. How did you build all these models?
Oh God, no! I just literally model mashed the shit out of everything. Yeah. Oh yeah. Don't worry about that. Right, so to enter.
I remember that from the original.
Oh
game.
yeah, of course. Yeah, it was so buggy. All right, to enter into the sniff mode, then you press Q.
Okay. I'm just gonna lower down the volume.
I can't hear
So
anything.
Q. Oh, I like it. Okay, there it is. The sniff. I mean, this is it, really, isn't it? This is this is pretty bang on. Wow, this is fantastic.
Of course, you got to collect them there now as well.
Oh, so you've even gone this far now.
Oh, yeah.
Implemented in. Oh, like the little sniff sound as well. You've got it all.
50 purples gets me a bone, and the more bones, the better.
What an
great.
Yellows
aroma!
Play the P marking.
I'm not gonna lie, this is taking me back. This is as I remember it in my nostalgic eyes.
Yeah, the old kid's brain remember things a lot better than we do.
Yeah. I mean, the graphics are so good.
What an
Oh, this is fantastic.
Yeah, so just loosely trying to recreate the starting area. Obviously, it's considerably more modernized than in the game. But
Oh, I see what you're going for here. I believe it's been a long couple of years since I played Dogs Like That, but they started on a farm. I remember that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm definitely getting those vibes off this.
yeah,
The music is really bringing me back. And I mean, as far as the mechanic goes, I mean, I can't fault it. This is exactly as it was in the game. So, and the fact that you even went in and you put the sound clips and the music in, I mean, that's so good.
yeah. I did all this in one day.
what an
Wow.
Oh yeah,
well,
I pretty
I'll
much.
tell
I spent today just adding in that menu.
what an
Well, I mean, I have to say, for one day's work, that's pretty impressive.
It's amazing what you can do when you, when you basically just get all your assets from online. So all you have to do is worry about actual merging it all together.
Maybe this is what it's like, when we're not trying to make an entire game ourselves.
Yeah, you see,
we could probably be proficient.
I also started to believe this. Yeah, maybe the thing holding me back is my inability to hone in on one particular skill.
I mean, will we learn from that? No, absolutely.
Oh God, no,
But,
never,
hey,
not in a million years.
all I'm thinking right now is I just wish there was more to this right now.
Oh, I know, yeah. That's the only thing. I mean, unfortunately, because it was only in one
an
day, I was
aroma.
kind of like, I've kind of left, your heart wanting more now. I actually thought about today going in and putting the boy and making you have to chase him up the hill there as well. But I just couldn't.
I know, yeah. It's amazing how far you want to go with these things. It's
Yeah.
just you can always implement more and more and more, but you just have to stop at a point.
Yeah, I mean, like this is it. This is Dog's Life remastered. Like,
Yeah, I mean, listen, put a label on it, sell it for 60 quid. That's what everyone else is doing these
perfect.
days.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, I really enjoyed that. That is, you know, your hype has been lived up to. I will give you that.
He can jump, but his jump's a bit weird.
Oh. Yeah, so it is. No, I remember he used to jump like that.
Oh yeah, he stops in the air and then falls. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, mine probably won't come anywhere close to this, but hey.
That's part of the fun.
It'll have entertainment value if nothing else. I don't know who made Dog's Life, but if they see this video, I mean, they should start sending out some contracts.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Right.
Okay, well, that's you.
Well, what do you rate the, making the mechanic? What do you rate it?
Oh, it's absolutely spot on. Like that, I mean, the visuals are nice, but the whole idea of the video this week was to get the actual mechanic working, and I have to say it's bang on. I even like the little trail effects that you've made there, the particle system effects. That's really nice.
That's how good old Unity's particle system.
I mean, like that's how they were. Mine are a lot worse. So
yeah, no. To be fair, I did put two screens together and try to mash them or kind of match them up as best I could.
Okay. No, it's the mechanic. It's 10 out of 10. I can't fault it. Well, 9 out of 10. I believe in the game when you go into his sniff mode.
Yeah, it's not all black and white. Oh yeah. Yeah. You could. Unfortunately, I couldn't quite match that up.
Other than that, though, I mean, I can't fault it.
Lovely. Right, so we're gonna get swapped over here, and then we'll be back to have a look at Jay's. Now, why is this called story time?
I don't know. I noticed that as well myself in the build settings. I have no clue. I must have changed it at some point and don't remember doing it. So
well, who cares? It's story time. Let's do this.
Oh, there we go. There he is.
Oh yes.
So
I love your camera. I love your camera. I wanted this kind of camera, but I just couldn't do it. This is fucking great. Oh man.
There's a bit of a twinge with the animation there, though. I tried it on for a long time to try and fix that, but I was spending far too much time on it. But
I originally had this is great. Okay. You actually undersold yours.
Well, that's good. Maybe I should do that from now on. Because maybe it's the fact that you oversold yours so much that I felt really bad about this.
This is fantastic. I'm like fucking the wolf from Harry Potter, like.
That's exactly what it is. I had another dog creature, and it was like a cute little beagle, and don't think it was a beagle. It was something else, and it didn't have any animations, but I loved it so much.
Yeah.
But I tried to animate it, and I realized I'm terrible at animation, so I downloaded this one from the model resource from Prisoner of Azkaban on the PS2,
that is fantastic.
And it had animations included with it.
It's so good.
So
I love your camera. It's so good.
Yeah, luckily it's just a working one from one I had before. But
what is going on with your trees?
Yeah. Oh yeah. The actual the environment itself is just from a free Unity asset, and obviously please don't stop running backwards. You're really highlighting the lack of backward running animation. But to test the sniff, as far as I remember, it was a shift. If you press shift there, I think it will.
This is your fucking your snout and everything, you bastard.
Yeah. I got the snout in. That was one thing, the only thing I wanted from it. Now mine doesn't go a step further like yours. It doesn't. Although he doesn't actually sniff them. But...
I'll be straight up though. This is wait, I'm facing the wrong direction. This looks more like a PS2 game, like this, like your smoke effects and all. What an aroma!
So I really
the rabbits.
Yeah,
you fucking have to.
I downloaded some little rabbits. I didn't know animation either, but I wanted to get the little pitter patter of the steps. But this was something I threw in very last second, something that really didn't need to be in it.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to kind of highlight that. So that's the sniff effect. I'm probably looking at it now. I could have. I have a vignette on the camera when you go into the sense mode.
Yeah.
But I probably could have highlighted that a bit more. But that's.
Yeah. So you didn't take out any of the color for in your sniff mode.
No, no.
So okay, look, if we
That
combine your nose with my desaturation, it should be
exactly,
great.
we've got a working dog's life recreation.
What
But
way
yeah,
did
that's
you
that's this.
what way did you handle your sense? Like obviously appearing and or showing up and not being there. Like
So essentially, the scents themselves are just a particle, and the particle then is put onto like a sense layer.
yeah,
So I have that on its own separate layer. So when you switch to sense, or sorry, when you're not in sense mode, it's rendering everything but the actual sense layer.
yeah,
And then when you do go into the sense mode, it has all the layers.
yeah. No, that's
So
exactly
essentially,
the
you're just
same with me.
hiding
Yeah,
one layer.
yeah. We did
Yeah.
exactly
It
the
was
same
that.
way. Yeah.
It was actually pretty. It wasn't too bad to implement,
Yeah,
which was great.
because of doing it that way, I was able to overlap basically two cameras. One camera just to capture the scent, and the second one so I could desaturate it so that they wouldn't lose their color, but everything else would.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
yeah, yeah. That'll
Clever.
all
Yeah,
be
yeah.
in the video as well. It took me a while. I was actually in the post processing effects, and I was like messing with the color grading and also everything would be black and white except them. But it was so finicky, and they weren't coming out the right color and all. And then obviously I thought
Yeah,
about doing it that way. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it sounds. Yeah, I didn't mess with any of that. I threw a simple. It actually, funnily enough, it took me longest to implement the vignette. I was having really some trouble with the post-processing effects. I couldn't get it to work, and I was like, I'm spending far too much time on this, but I got it working in the end.
I can't believe there's dog animations and everything. This is great.
I know
Yeah,
it was a big win for me, to be honest.
I was still expecting your block sheep that you had showed me a week ago.
Oh yeah, that'll be in the development video that's
Nice.
playing in the background.
I can't wait. Oh, this is so good. All right, verdicts. Yeah, no, fucking. I mean, like that. Now you can't collect your sniffs, so I mean
No, you
that's a
can't.
bit of a downside, you know. No desaturation. I mean, like this is
I know.
after your
You
Crash
can't
Bash
have it all,
game, you
man.
know.
I
Yeah,
mean,
no,
listen,
it's good. It's good.
given your reaction, I'm pretty happy because I was looking at it at the end. I was like, I could have done so much more with this, but hey,
Look,
it is
like
what it
that,
is.
the actual sheer mechanic of it is there anyway. Being able to go in between the two modes was what we were trying to capture with these kind of videos. Oh,
Oh yeah, don't mind that.
good. So that is just a feature everyone includes.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I don't know. I think we as far as the mechanic goes, I think we both did pretty well
Oh,
with
100%.
the implementation. Putting the dog in his box to a whole new level. Okay.
This is so good. Yeah, no, I think that's great. Right, so unlike the last week, we're going to jump right into the development mode of it now. So if you want to stop watching, this is where you do. Otherwise, if you're into Unity development and seeing how games go from blank areas to this, continue watching. So I knew right from the start that I wanted this to be somewhat of a kind of forest scene. So right away, I jumped onto the Unity Asset Store and found this Dream Forest by, I think it's IL Ranch. And yeah, so downloaded that, imported it into Unity. Once I got that into Unity, then I started to just place around a couple of objects into the basic terrain that kind of came with the pack, as well as modifying the terrain to kind of suit the look I was going for. I wanted to somewhat recreate that scene from the beginning of A Dog's Life. So I started to throw in a couple of bits of mountain, change the terrain to grass, added in a bit of tall grass as well to kind of update the scene, so give it that same effect, but at the same time making it look a bit more modern. Gave the barn some colours, dropped in a couple of fences to really tie in that kind of first area barn. That's where you play basketball, I think, to earn a bone in the game. So once that was done, I started to work on the smells. So I had all 4 smells set up in a couple of minutes using Unity's particle system. Then I had to actually add in the colour effect, so you could basically change the black and white in the game and see the smells when you're in the sense mode. I messed around with the color grading for a while to see if I could get that to work so the smells would still be in color but everything else would be in black and white, but then I realized it was a much easier way to do this, and I just separated them both onto separate cameras and everything worked perfect then. So once that was done, I found this lovely little pooch online, bought that, brought him into Unity, messed around with his texture so he looked right, found the animations that I wanted to take from this model, dropped them into the animator just to have a look at how the dog would look in game. Once I was happy with that, I worked on a basic movement script, got the dog walking around. So first I had to set up the camera movement so the camera would follow the dog around. I think it ended up turning out really well. After that then I had to set up basically the animation system, so the animation would play whenever the dog would walk. It's a fairly simple process. I've done it before for many different projects. So once I was happy with that, the dog was finally walking every time that I moved the character. And yeah, it's not perfect, but it definitely got the job done. So once I was happy with that, I decided to mess with the keyframes so the animation just played a little bit better, so we'd go from walk to run. And I think that'll turn out really well. After that then, it was time to set up the ability to jump between sense mode and regular third person mode. Once I was happy with that then, I started to make it so you could jump back and forth between the two different senses. I also made it so you could actually pick up the smells. That was a big part of it. Set all the smells to have a collider so I could collide with them. Just set it up so basically I could destroy the items when I walked into them, and I'd add sound to these later. Then I just dropped a load of them around just to see how it was kind of looking, and I decided I was just going to leave it like this for the end of the project because we just had to get that sense mode down. After that I decided to work on a menu mode, or a menu. So I decided to recreate the main menu scene from Dog's Life, where basically the cloth comes hanging down with Dog's Life written on it. Jumped into Blender and decided to throw this together. Had to get that cloth animation working first. Once that was looking okay and I was happy enough with that, I decided to just tweak it a bit and then jump into Photoshop to modernize the Dog's Life sign. So as you can see here, I basically just took the sign, traced over it with the pen tool because honestly it's considerably easier. Once I was happy enough with that, I thickened all the lines to give it that punchy look. Once all of that was done, I just added in all the spots that you'd see on the logo itself. Just roughed them all in. It didn't need to look great, I just needed it to work essentially. After that then I just added a quick filter just to give a bit of texture to make it look like the dog's fur. Then uses the burn tool to go around and add some more textures if it's variation in the colour of the spots. And then I just touched up all of the lines to give it that full white outline like you see in the Dog's Life logo. Once that was done, it was back to Blender and I had to basically drop this into Blender, add it to that, make sure the UVs were correct and sized in a way that I liked. And then just checked how that looked on the animation itself. So that was still looking pretty good, so I was happy enough with that. It was at this stage I realized that I didn't know how to export that kind of animation from Blender, so I had to recreate it in Unity. Luckily the cloth tool is fairly easy to use, so I dropped the item in Unity, kept it at the same angle, added the cloth tool, pinched the two corners. Took me a minute to figure that out, but once I did, boom, perfect cloth. It just needed a couple of tweaks to really make it stand out, make it look like that intro from the game. So I added some dampening so it wouldn't fall quite as fast. And after that, I think it turned out pretty well. So then I just had to basically set up that intro scene, add in the press spacebar instead of press start button, change some of the lining around, and finally we had the Dog's Life finish main menu. I think it turned out pretty well. Added in the music then to just give it that extra kick.
For my implementation of the sniff mechanic for Dog's Life, I knew pretty much straight away that I was going to have to use a layer mask in order to hide everything else from the frustum of the camera. So I pretty much got started working on that straight away. I just created a very basic dog model using the primitive shapes from Unity, and I just tried to set up the camera to how I would want it to be the end experience with the actual model. So I played around with that for a little while so that I could get a proper camera working for the dog. After that, I just set up a couple of variables so that I could transition in and out of the dog sense. Once that was implemented, it was just a matter of setting up the layer mask in order to hide anything on the dog sense layer from the camera. So right here, I started playing around with the layer mask. I had a couple of issues in the beginning. When I started transitioning in and out of DogSense, it was only rendering the actual layer that I wanted to hide. So everything else was being hidden from the camera, but the DogSense, which was the complete opposite of what I wanted to do. So I played around with that for a little while until eventually I figured out that I had to hide everything but that layer, which made it work in the end. After this, I browsed around on the model resource website and I downloaded a dog model from there. I implemented this with the solution I already had in place with the primitives from Unity, and this worked well. Once I was happy with that, I downloaded some free fantasy environments pack from the Unity asset store. This was just to give the scene a better look, some greenery and some trees so that it looked more like the PS2 game. I then started playing around with the particle system to try and create the smells that you see in the game. This is what will be on the DogSense layer I created earlier. I added a smoke particle to this and set it to transparent, so that pretty much was it ready to go. After this, I created the snout by extracting a part of the dog model, as when you're in the DogSense in the game, you can see the snout that's attached to the camera. I did this by setting the parent of the snout to the camera. I then realized that the model I was using didn't have any animations, so I went back to the model resource website and I found this wolf model from the Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. This model had animations already, so I decided to use it. Probably not as friendly as the beagle from Dog's Life, but you know, the fact that this already had animations made it extremely useful to me, as I am not an animator. After this, I implemented what I already had with the other model so that it would work correctly. And then I started to create some animation states so that I could transition between idle and running. Once this was done, I created a post-processing effect, as there is a vignette on the DogSense on the PS2 game. So that was implemented by importing the post-processing effects from the Unity package manager. Once this was done, I just started to create prefabs for all the scent particles, and I started laying them all around the scene just to fill it out a bit. I then downloaded some more free assets from the Unity asset store, because when you're in the game, you're on a farm, and I wanted to make it look a little bit more like you were on the farm. I'm not much of a level designer, so this is probably my best attempt at trying to make something look like a farm, but it's basically just me placing some assets around the level and trying to make it look a little bit better, but honestly I think it would have been better if I just left them out. I then started placing some more of the scent particle effects around the scene to try and pad out the level a little bit. Once that was done, I added a navigation mesh, as I downloaded some rabbit models from their asset store and gave them a very basic wandering script, just so that they could walk around in a little circle. Just because in the PS2 games there are some animals and they leave a trail behind them, so I wanted to try and emulate that effect with the rabbits so that you would see the effect when they walk around. Once that was done, the mechanic was basically implemented. I was pretty happy with how it turned out. I wish I had a little bit more time to fix up some of the animations or get some of the 3D models that better represent the PS2 game, such as a beagle instead of a scary wolf. But in terms of the implementation of the mechanic, I was pretty happy. To conclude, here's some footage of the mechanic, and I hope you enjoyed the video.
That's going to be it for us this week. This has been the Dog's Life sniff mechanic and episode 2 of, I don't know, We Can Make That, or animator versus programmer, or artist versus programmer.
Still working on the name.
Working on the name. You know, that will come with time anyway. Yeah. For now, I think we can call it We Can Do That. But yeah, if you enjoyed, don't forget to subscribe and like the video and comment. Tell us which one was better, the usual kind of stuff.
Yeah. Let us know, and if you have any ideas for any mechanics that you want to see in the future, drop them down there as well. We don't have any mechanics just yet, but we'll pick something for the next video, and we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. Talk to you in the next one.
Take it easy. Bye. Never know how to outro.